As Syrian refugees stream into Europe, CNN is capturing powerful images of families in the midst of these excruciating journeys. In fact, this exclusive video here, taken by our CNN cameras, this is just off the coast of Turkey. More than 30 people here crammed into this tiny pontoon boat being smuggled across the Mediterranean with hopes of reaching Greece. Today, Secretary of State John Kerry announced the United States will take in more refugees from the crisis in Syria, though Secretary Kerry did not say exactly how many more refugees the U.S. will welcome. Thus far, the U.S. has brought in just 1,500 people trying to escape the war in Syria. And you know what? My next guest says that is not enough. He is Tom Andrews, the president and CEO of United to End Genocide, also former member of Congress. So, Congressman Andrews, thank you so much for joining me.
Brooke, thanks for having me.
Let's begin with this petition you started, MoveOn.org, urging President Obama to act. We've been checking. It's up 1,400 signatures and counting. What do you think the U.S. role should be here?
Well, first of all, in any debates along these lines, Brooke, so often it's the shrill voices that appear to appeal to fear and Fortress America. What we're talking about here are desperate people. Over 4 million have been forced out of Syria. They're literally running for their lives. They need help, they need compassion, they need support. And the United States needs to do two things. Number one, we need to be open to more refugees. 1,500 is just, it's almost laughable. It is such a small number compared to the number of the great need that we have here. But secondly, the United States has to play a leadership role. And by committing ourselves to taking more of our fair share of this burden, we can then generate support from other countries, particularly those in the region, to step up and do their fair share. We all have to work on this together, but these are not people just looking to get a better job next door. They are desperate people who are literally running for their lives, and they need compassion and support.
I am hearing you, and I know this is such your realm of expertise. I was asking some folks to find me numbers. Apparently, we're told the United States takes in already between 55,000 and 70,000 political refugees each and every year. I was just talking to this phenomenal woman in Berlin last hour who took in this family of 4 who left Aleppo. Just to you personally, Congressman, would you open your home to some of these people?
You know, the amazing thing, Brooke, the answer is yes. And the amazing thing is that not only are we getting people to sign our petition, to have their voices heard above the shrill voices of Fortress America, but they're also writing and saying, look, we would like to help. We'll open up our spare bedroom. Our church or our synagogue would like to help as well. It is amazing. We are a nation of refugees. We were founded by people who were fleeing persecution. Yes, there is a lot of fear that is appealed to by some in the political world here in Washington. But you've got to believe there's an enormous amount of compassion there too, and common sense, realizing that the United States has to use both of those qualities and rise above the harsh rhetoric in order to come to a solution here that I think we'll all feel good about as Americans. We need to act.
There are lots of people who want to act. I mean, when you look at your petition, there are people who are saying, I have a spare bedroom, I want to help. I mean, quickly here, what would you say to these people who genuinely want to offer a helping hand?
Well, first of all, we have to change U.S. policy. There is a limit to how many people are being allowed in. As long as that policy is in place, it doesn't matter how generous you are and how hopeful you want to be, there's a limit to how many people can be brought in. So first of all, let's change U.S. policy. Let's open our doors to more refugees. Let's lead with compassion and also common sense here, and let's provide the means and the opportunity for people who want to do the right thing to do the right thing.
There are cynics. I mean, it's impossible to turn away from these images of our crews chasing these people through these cornfields, watching a woman who gave birth 11 days ago, nursing her child as she is marching on. I have to play this soundbite. This is from Chris Dickey. He's an editor with the Daily Beast. He's a 40-year war veteran covering wars. This is his perspective.
People become outraged, they cry, and they do nothing. I've seen a lot of suffering, but I've never seen a crisis on quite the scale that we're looking at now in Europe. There are more and more people who are more and more desperate. It's not that they don't want to work. It's not that they don't want to do things. Hell, the people who become migrants, immigrants, refugees, those people are very often the smartest, most capable people in their societies. It's all about one central issue. It's about hope. It's about people who want to have hope. And they lose hope in the lands where they were born, and they think that they can have some kind of hope for themselves and their families if they go to for that matter, if they come to the United States.
But when you listen to the whole thing, you know, one of his worries is that ultimately the American people will do nothing. 30 seconds, Congressman. What would you say to Chris Dickey?
Have hope. There are many, many Americans here who have great compassion and are looking at this with common sense, who want the United States government to stand up, to lead the world in having a collective global response to this crisis. This is the largest refugee crisis that we have seen since World War II. And in World War II, one of our darkest moments was when we turned away refugees at our border who ended up dying in ovens in the Holocaust. We cannot afford as a country, both morally and any other way, to turn aside. We need to open our hearts and our minds, use common sense, and provide the leadership necessary to save untold numbers of lives.
Tom Andrews, I appreciate your voice, President and CEO of United to End Genocide. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Brooke.